Hello, and welcome back to another Chris McPherson Show Daily Dose. It's time to talk some more cricket and unpack day 2 of the second Ashes test, the day night, the pink ball test from the Gabba, and we're going to break it all down for you here. If you are coming to us for the first time or you haven't before, make sure to hit subscribe down below. Love to have you along for the longer journey. And of course, give the video a like, get involved in the comments. Let us know your thoughts and takeaways from day 2 as this test continues to ebb and flow and take some twists and turns. But we are here to talk the Ashes and day 2 of that second test from the Gabba. And it was an interesting one. Australia managed to waste not too much time, just over 2 overs in claiming the final wicket of Jofra Archer, Ben Doggett taking that. England adding just 9 runs to their overnight score and falling for 334 early on day 2. That meant that Australia would bat for the majority of day 2 if they could control the game, and that is exactly what they did. Maybe not to full aplomb, but certainly at a decent clip and with plenty of batsmen getting runs. Travis Head and Jake Weatherald got us off to a good start, like they did in the second innings in Perth. They got away at a great clip, racking up off the first 10 overs, none for 50, showing some clear intent about how they were going about their cricket. Head took a little while to get going, but once they did, they were away to the races. As I said, they were going at a good score, 5 and over for those first 10, and that seemed to maintain for the whole day, essentially. At different points, they put the accelerator down throughout the day, the Aussies, but that opening partnership set the tone, and Travis Head, unfortunately, they continued on a little too aggressively for too long and eventually fell for 33. Australia were 1 for 77 in the early 14th over. And the good news was the Aussie batters were getting starts. Jake Weatherall then continued on with his start, made a maiden test half century here at the Gabba, something that he won't forget in just his second test match for Australia. He fell a little later at 72, and it was a constant story of wickets for Australia. They would get starts, they would have partnerships of sort of 40 or 50, and just no one really going on with it. We saw Marnus Labuschagne get his half century, getting 65 racked up. Steve Smith, again, the captain, a nice half century, and look, to be fair, he looked like he was set late before falling to probably a poor shot choice in the end, and that was the story of the day. A few wickets thrown away once they had starts. Speaking of that, Cameron Green never really looked properly settled, and again, Bryden Cast, they were going after him clearly at times. You know, he was going at 8, 9, 10 and over plenty of times, and I just question the way Cameron Green was just backing away into the leg side, leaving his stumps exposed, and eventually he paid the toll for that. Cast just castling him just shy of a test half century. He fell for 45. And as I said, there was just some shot selections that weren't great from the Aussies. Some, I guess, areas of improvement that could have been there. Cast, I don't think he was bowling that well. I don't think he was bowling that badly for some of those overs that went sort of 13s and 14s either. So a real curious way they were going about it. It was almost like they wanted to wrap things up last night and send the English into bat for a little while in the night session, the way they were going. It was like, hit out or get out, and I don't think it was quite necessary. They ended up going at almost or just over 5 and over in the end, 5.17, I think the end run rate was at the end of the day, which just made you sort of question. I mean, England and their Bazball were only going at 4.4 and over, so really puzzling the way the Aussies decided to take this on and pursue this total. Plenty of people will say it worked, but I think they had the better of the batting conditions. I think day 2 clearly looked better to bat on than day 1. So it's a tough and puzzling one on how Australia are approaching this. Will the ends justify the means? Well, we'll know more on day 4 or day 5, won't we? So it's a really curious one. But as we said, every batsman got starts. Travis Head of the out batsmen in the top 5, lowest score. He got 33. We saw Josh Inglis. He got 23 from 25 balls. He actually looked quite fluent at times, but also took some risk before he was bowled by Stokes late on the day. The one thing that really puzzled me, though, as I said, not only that way they went about it, but they didn't make the most of lifelines. The English gave them a number of lifelines. Late, Michael Neser hit one straight to Bryden Cast at cover. He put it down. Jamie Smith dropped Travis Head. Ben Duckett dropped Alex Carey. Duckett again dropped Josh Inglis first ball. They could have had back-to-back wickets there. Sorry, that was Alex Carey first ball, dropped Josh Inglis a little bit later on. But both times in the gully, just England, will they come back to regret those? Obviously, as I said, Australia really needed to go on with this and take some opportunity from the chances they were given. I feel that they've left some runs out there, the Australians, by the way they've gone about it. We really needed one of the batsmen to go on and make a big score, essentially what Joe Root did in that first innings, and that's possibly what's going to come back. They're going to have to bat last on this pitch, and what's that going to look like is a really big question. Overnight, they finished at 6 for 378. We've got Alex Carey, 46 not out, going at a run of ball again. Michael Neser, 15 from 30 balls, a little bit more traditional in terms of how he's going about his scoring. We do have Mitch Starc, Scott Boland and Brendan Doggett still to come. Starc obviously can take the long handle to the ball. We know that. So Australia can still get some more runs, but they really needed to, from the positions they were in, at times of, 2 for 190 odd, 3 for 290. They really needed to go on and turn this into a 500 plus score, send England back into bat with 150 to 200 run deficit, and hopefully bowl them out then for, around that 300 on, day 3, day 4, meaning that they're only chasing 100, 150 on the final day. But what they set this up for, if they don't go on to score 500, is that the English will now essentially be chasing, a score of maybe 150, 140, which then means that the Australians, again, are chasing a bigger total in that fourth innings. If the English can then go and post 350, well, it's a 200 plus chase, which I think is going to be challenging on the final days of this test. But again, time will tell. Does the pitch hold up today? Do they go on? There's a lot that falls with Alex Carey and Michael Neser. If they can move this partnership on, it's already up to 49. If they can move this partnership on to 120, 130, and then some little cameos from the others, well, maybe they get that 500, 530. And as I said, set England, out there with 200 to chase before they, start to set a total for Australia to pursue. But it's in the balance, I think. Certainly interesting how things sit at the moment for the balance of this game. And it's going to be curious to see how it goes. I guess Bryden Cast, the pick of the bowlers from day 2 in terms of wickets, 3 for 113. Ben Stokes, I thought, bowled quite well in patches, getting the ball to move really well. But again, Australia have clearly shown the intent to go after Cast and Jacks most notably. And it sits at 6 for 378. So we head into day 3. It'll start 3 o'clock this afternoon. Interesting times for the Aussies. Alex Carey, realistically the key. He didn't look fully confident at times yesterday. We saw that chance he got given on his first ball. So can England pick up their fielding? What's that going to look like? The other takeaway from day 2 was some conversations with Pat Cummins on the broadcast, talking about the fact that, essentially they think that, Cummins and Khawaja should be available should they be needed. Cummins obviously will be, you would think, for the next test. Josh Hazlewood with his Achilles tendonitis in his hamstring, though, whether or not he will be is still questionable. It looks like he may bowl within a week or so. So you would suggest he's probably still at least another test away, Hazlewood, I would think. So maybe we'll see him ready for Boxing Day, hopefully. But otherwise for Adelaide, it looks like Cummins will be back in, and that's kind of the piece that you'd be looking at. We're set, though, for an interesting day 3. Who holds the upper hand? Well, I think you'd have to suggest that that the Aussies do have a bit of an advantage here. The English are going to have to chase, but I don't think it's as comprehensive as some people might think, because if they can get Carey early here, we could quite easily be all out for 420, 430 and only have a 100-run lead, which isn't, I think, as big as people might suggest. So we'll wait and see. Head towards day 3, as we wrap up day 2. A big thank you to you all for tuning in. Let's put our hopes and prayers in Alex Carey. What can the English do here? It's going to be interesting to see. Can Jofra Archer wheel out his top speed and claim some wickets? He only got the one in the innings so far, taking Weatherall LBW, but we will wait and see. The English need to pick up their fielding. Australia need to go on with this opportunity now for Alex Carey. I'd love to see him go on and make at least 90 to 100. I was really hoping that was going to be Steve Smith yesterday, but as soon as we talked about that, he fell. So we'll wait and see. That's day 2 wrapped. Looking ahead to day 3. Of course, if you haven't already, hit subscribe and follow along on our social media channels at The Chris Mack Show. You can find us on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on TikTok. Until next time, a big thank you to you for tuning into your home of the black and white of sport. No grey opinions here.